How you guys doing? My name is Elijah and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. I realized since my second episode that I haven't really been using the Let's Talk intro, so we're bringing it back for now. I'm here to talk about how mental health gets monetized in the pharmaceutical industry. Now, this isn't just a mental health itself video. I want to talk about this because, mental health is a close thing to my heart. It's something I used to deal with. In a way, it can get personal without getting too personal, but let's get into this, man.
If you ain't smoking on gas, you need to foot in your ass. If you smoking that trash, you need to foot in your ass.
Now, prescription drugs, mainly antidepressants, are something that I know a few people that use it. I used to use it. And there's so many people, probably hundreds of thousands out here in just London alone, that deal with depression and take antidepressants, all that type of jazz. And I'm gonna be real, my experience using them, it wasn't it. Hopefully this shit fucking focuses. Here it is. These are the antidepressants I used to take. This is what they look like. And I've had them for years. And the reason that I stopped taking them is because it started to shift my mindset into some blank space. Like when I got prescribed those antidepressants, the doctors told me that I'd have to take them for a few months and get re-prescribed and all that jazz. It's supposed to shift my thoughts from how do I explain this? It was supposed to take away my depressed thoughts and then replace them with nothing in a way. So instead of feeling depressed and sad all the time, I would end up just feeling blank. There'd be no thoughts at all. I'm assuming that point is just supposed to replace them with happier thoughts, but if I need a drug to do that, then am I really cured? You get what I'm trying to say? If I had followed through with the process, I'd have to rely on a drug in order to get rid of my bad feelings instead of just learning how to get rid of the bad feelings. So I quit using them, and I always keep them as a reminder as to what I used to be like and how every day is like a growth away from that, in a sense. Bit philosophical, bit deep, but that's just life. And during this time, I quit all social medias. I cut off a lot of people. It was hard, but I don't regret any of it because fuck all of them niggas. And I just spent this time self-reflecting, trying to find the root of my problems and solving it, basically trying to work towards that, because that was really the problem with my depression. But lo and behold, when I started going back to watching YouTube videos, I came across Mr. Fanta Light himself, Castillo, and he said this a couple years ago on Standout TV.
The cure to depression is to figuring out the root of it. My root was being broke.
Yeah.
I figured out the root of it, and then that's it. But along the way, I had to learn a lot of shit about myself.
What did you learn about yourself?
You learn your resilience, you learn how strong you are, you learn how to stretch peas, you learn to be shitted on and be able to come back from that. You know how to fall down 7 times and stand up 8 times. You learn all of that. You get me? You learn that rejection, all of that shit is nothing. Rejection is normal. Failing is normal.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
And I couldn't put it any flipping better. This is exactly what I did. I just didn't have Castillo to tell me. But the reason I started off talking about antidepressants is because, I'm not gonna lie, in a way it kind of teaches you to tolerate being depressed, not to actually cure it. That's kind of how I was trying to explain the mindset of how your mindset goes from A to B. It's kind of like teaching you to tolerate your bad thoughts by replacing them with null and void thoughts. You get what I'm trying to say? That's just not beating depression. That's not curing depression. That's just drugging you at that point. It's just another form of addiction. I don't want that. And the final thing I want to talk about for this video, I know it's only 2 things I'm talking about, but I want to keep it short, is the whole therapy and counseling thing. If you're in England, you might be able to get away with it, but in America, you ain't getting away with this. You got to pay out of pocket for everything. Therapy, counseling, the shit is a luxury, if I'm being honest. When it comes to mental health and things like that, it wasn't even taken that serious until the mid 2010s. Before that, no one gave a fuck. It was deemed a cop-out, and now it's almost oversaturated. We have a bunch of people self-diagnosing, all that type of jazz. And I was lucky enough to where when I was going through these things, I was under 18, so I got it for free because I was technically a child. Most of the time, these things aren't free. We can't just get free counseling, free therapy sessions. We can't get that. These things are luxuries. And sometimes even when you can afford it, you might be busy enough to where you don't have time. Imagine you need to afford therapy sessions, right? So you start working more in order to afford therapy. But now because you're working more, you don't have time to go therapy. You get what I'm saying? It's a lose-lose, especially as a single person. And something that the NHS used to do for me when I was younger is they would recommend certain clubs or certain activities, it was some table tennis club or some shit, or some type of activity that they're sponsoring in order to go out and try and have fun and not think about depression shit and all that. And to put a point blank period, this is stuff that they will directly monetize and benefit from, because I might be able to get there for free, but in order to take part in activities I might have to spend money in order to, you know what I'm saying? If it's like going to some arcade or some shit, or going to some sports day, I don't know what the fuck the activities were, but guaranteed there's gonna be extra things that I gotta pay money for. Who benefits? Obviously the higher ups benefit. The therapist you might be working with may personally want you to get better. The doctor who might prescribe you these things might personally want you to get better. The nurse who's helping you around might personally want you to get better. But they all work for a company, and the company's priority is money. Like, even this goes for everything. I used to work in retail. My managers, my direct managers anyway, they wanted me to succeed and do well. But the higher ups just care about you as a colleague. You're a number to them. It's the sad truth, but it is what it is. I'd love to, you know, help out a customer, do a win-win situation, but a win-win is a win-lose. That's how I originally lost my job in the first place. I did a win-win for a customer. The company benefited, she benefited, but because it broke the rules, they try to fire me. So at the end of the day, the higher ups just care about monetizing things and making money. And it doesn't matter how people on the bottom feel on a person-to-person basis. We are people on the bottom. So a lot of the times we'll get recommended things, recommended prescriptions, recommended activities, and it's just a roundabout way for these same industries to start making money off us. Because why would they prescribe things to help us beat our problems when they can keep prescribing us things to help us tolerate our problems, and they'll get paid triple, quadruple the money? But I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. There's a bunch of things I could talk about, but I want you guys to leave them in the comments if you make it to this point in the video. Take care, yo. Peace.
I'm not a savior nor a saint. Told 30s and sticks with an open case. I try to behave when I know I can't. So purpose of this is to motivate. What's the ticket? Shit we can negotiate. Take a toke of the law while I pour the drink.